More than 120 school closings are coming into the Channel 3000 Alert Center this morning, causing more headaches for districts already trying to figure out how to make up for missed class time.
And looking live this morning on East Washington, I should say, where snow is already coating the ground. It is still coming down. Josh Spreiter is live with the latest road conditions.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning. The unofficial snow ruler out on the patio shows almost half a foot of snow fell overnight, and we have team coverage of this system.
Our Josh Spreiter has a live look at the snow-covered roads as you drive into work this morning. But we start with Hattie McLean's Alert Day forecast to see just how long this snow is going to fall today, Hattie.
Good morning, Danica and Leah. Well, this is going to be a long duration event. We have snow expected through the day today right into tonight. Take a live look from the WISC-TV Skycam. We are going to have some work to do when our shift comes to an end. All of our cars are buried in snow. It has been snowing pretty hard over the last couple of hours, so anything that was plowed earlier is once again covered in snow. Today is an alert day. There is a small chance for a little bit of freezing drizzle to start to mix in as we go through the next couple of hours, especially in far southern Wisconsin. Still on track, though, for 5 to 11 inches of snow with this system. Highest amounts will be north of the Dells. Winter storm warnings continue until midnight tonight, so that gives you an idea of how long we're going to deal with this particular system. Now, the radar map is showing you that the snow is starting to break up and let up a little bit in southwestern Wisconsin as some dry air works its way into the region. That means we'll start to see our snow diminish a little bit here in Madison within the next hour. However, that hole in the snow will fill back in heading towards the afternoon. So we're still on track for some pretty heavy snow totals, especially for our northwestern and northern viewing area. This is total snow expectation, so it takes into consideration what we've already gotten. Our temperatures will hold nearly steady today, but it will turn windy, so blowing and drifting snow will be an issue this afternoon into tonight. Let's take a look at those first alert traffic maps. We're seeing a lot of colors on this map this morning. That's not typical for this time of the day. Pretty much every road is going a little bit slower than normal. They're all snow covered right now. Plows are out, but again, the snow is falling pretty hard here in Madison, so it's hard to keep up with the rate that the snow is falling. There's a stalled vehicle on the interstate right south of the Dane County line. Otherwise, Highway 151 is pretty slow between Mount Horeb and Verona. Will slow on the interstate as well as you head east of Madison. So if you do have to be out this morning, plan some extra time and go slowly.
Definitely some good advice. All right, thank you, Hattie. So if you are catching a flight this morning, you're going to want to check on the status. Several flights out of Dane County are canceled or delayed, as well as a handful scheduled to fly into Madison today.
If the runways are that rough, the roads are bound to be a problem. Let's turn it over to Josh Spreiter with a live update on conditions out there. He is headed toward some of the heaviest snow in our area. Josh.
Good morning. We are heading north now on I-3990. We just got off the Beltline about 5 minutes ago, and as you can tell, the road is snow covered out here. And as we were kind of talking about, this is a little bit of a different kind of snow. It's a little heavier than what we've dealt with some of these previous winter storms in the last couple of weeks, which makes it to be a little bit more of a slushy commute out there, which kind of means for a little bit more slipping and sliding. We're going about 40 miles an hour right now heading north. Traffic seems to be moving just fine. There was a crash earlier near the Lodi exit on the shoulder, which was blocking that. That has since been clear, but that's just that extra reminder to be extra careful. According to Dane County Dispatch, there has been around 12 slide-offs and accidents reported overnight, and they expect that to increase as the morning commute picks up this morning. Down in Rock County, about half of that number at 6 slide-offs and accidents overnight. Again, we're heading north on the interstate right now, heading towards more of those heavier totals. If you are heading out this morning, give yourself some extra time. Take it slow and be patient. We've seen a lot of snow plows and snow removal crews out working very hard so we can all get to our destination safely. Also remember to have that windshield washer fluid and a full tank of gas handy just in case. You never know when you're going to need it. We'll keep our eye on the roads out here. For now, we'll send it back to you ladies in the studio.
We so appreciate it. Josh Spreiter keeping an eye on those road conditions for us this morning. Thank you, Josh.
There may be no better reminder to be cautious out on the roads today than this video here. An Ashwaubenon public safety officer is okay this morning after he was hit by a semi. This happened.
To see.
Yeah, most definitely. This happened around 9:30 this morning on a state highway. The officer was initially trapped in that vehicle, but was able to get free and wasn't injured. The semi-driver was cited for operating too fast for conditions. Police are reminding all of us to drive at a safe speed so we can all stop if necessary. If your travel plans take you to Chicago today, part of Lakeshore Drive is going to be shut down. Crews say there's a structural emergency on a bridge there. They found two different spots along that road, or along Lake Michigan, I should say, on that road, where steel beams were cracking. The Department of Transportation there says the temperature swings over the last few weeks likely played a role in those beams failing. Officials hope to reopen the road by tonight. However, permanent repairs will take weeks.
Back in our area, side streets might actually be looking better than you think this morning. That's because ahead of this storm, the Madison Streets Division salted all residential roads, a move they haven't done since the 70s. City leaders say the decision wasn't taken lightly, having to weigh driver safety versus the environmental impact of salt on the lakes. Streets crews say the amount of salt used on the roads now has doubled. Meanwhile, schools are still struggling to figure out how to make up for all of these snow days. Mount Horeb Schools is one of the more than 100 school districts that have canceled class today. They aren't able to add makeup days to the end of the year because of construction, so they've had to come up with a different plan to make up for all of this missed time. Superintendent Steve Salerno says the district will cancel a parent-teacher conference day at the end of this month, along with a professional development day the day after. The district will also cancel a couple of early release days throughout the rest of the school year. Salerno says snow days are not an easy decision to make, but families and staff have been pretty supportive.
Just can-do spirit. They roll up their sleeves, they dig in, and let's get it done. I mean, that's their thoughtfulness that makes this community just so very special.
Renovations on Mount Horeb High School are scheduled to begin in late May. The district actually started the school year early in hopes of keeping the construction on schedule.
We are still waiting to hear why the trial for a suspended Badger football player is delayed. Quintez Cephas still faces 2 charges of sexual assault. He was supposed to start his trial yesterday, but court documents show that proceeding was not, quote, ripe for trial at this time. 2 women claim Cephas assaulted them on the same night while they were intoxicated last April. Cephas has pleaded not guilty and claims those encounters were consensual.
In Illinois, the Attorney General is asking that state's Supreme Court to review the sentencing for a Chicago police officer who fatally shot a black teenager. Jason Van Dyke was convicted of second-degree murder and 16 counts of aggravated battery with a firearm in the death of Laquan McDonald. A judge sentenced him to under 7 years in prison, though some have called that sentence too lenient. Originally, prosecutors had asked for up to 20 years in prison for Van Dyke.
Beloit police are now asking for the public's help to track down a suspect in that city's first homicide of the year. 28-year-old James Tompton was found dead Saturday in the driver's seat of a car that was still running. Police say it appears he was shot by a person who was in the passenger seat at the time of the shooting. Beloit police released a picture and video yesterday afternoon they hope will help identify the person responsible and take that person into custody. We have those up on channel3000.com. Now, meanwhile, James's family describes him as sweet and quirky, someone who always liked to make people laugh.
I mean, he's such a giving, loving person. I don't know why. You know, that's the question in my head. Because James would do anything for you. If he could help you, he would.
Beloit police say it took about 2 hours for someone to even notice Tompton dead in the car and give police a call.
6:08 your time now. A conference this weekend is inviting teachers and community members to learn more about Black history and how to share it with their kids. We're talking with the organizer of the Edgewood College Black History Education Conference. That's next.
And we could have close to a foot of snow northwest of Madison by the time this system clears out. More than 130 school districts, including Madison, and pretty much all Dane County districts are closed for the day. Hattie's got a full look at your alert day forecast when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
Good morning from the patio. Snow still falling, although I think it's starting to let up a little bit here on the west side of town. We have 6 inches of snow on the ground right now, and it's kind of a wetter, heavier snow, so take it easy as you head out to start shoveling this morning. It is an alert day for southern Wisconsin with winter storm warnings in effect until midnight tonight. Now, looking at the radar map, you may think that that seems a little long for that storm warning to be in effect, but the snow is expected to fill back in as we go through the late morning into the afternoon hours across southern Wisconsin. Our probability of precipitation stays relatively high even into the afternoon and evening hours, with, I think, snowflakes still flying at 10 o'clock tonight in some locations. So a long duration event for southern Wisconsin. We've already gotten 6 inches here in Madison, slightly higher totals. I've seen some come in from areas north of the Dells. So we're still on track for a general 5 to 11 inch snow total across southern Wisconsin. So a pretty big storm for us. Here's a look at visibility, and you can see where the heaviest snow is falling. It's lining up from Black River Falls down to Madison and up towards Juneau, so shifting to the north and east. Visibility has improved drastically in southwestern Wisconsin. In fact, in Prairie du Chien right now, visibility is 10 miles, so a break in the snow there. Here's a look at that radar map, and you'll see that area of snow starting to break up a little bit through southwestern Wisconsin. We'll see our snow weaken in intensity here in Madison as well, but it is already starting to fill back in across parts of northeastern Iowa. So we're not done with the snow just yet. Here's a wider view of this particular system. The back edge of the snow is still extending well back into Minnesota and Iowa at this hour. So we have snow continuing right into the afternoon and evening. Visibility not the best here in Madison. We don't have a clear view of the Capitol from the Edgewater Skycam, but at least temperatures aren't too cold. Mid to upper 20s right now, even a few 30s on the map. Wind gusts will be fairly strong later today. We'll see those winds lighten up as that storm passes overhead. But then when it shifts to the east, northwesterly winds kick in and they'll increase once again, gusting in the 30 to almost 40-mile-an-hour range in some spots. And that will cause some issues with blowing and drifting snow tonight. Here's a look at your future track forecast model. It is showing you the snow starting to break up for southwestern Wisconsin this morning. By the lunch hour, the heaviest snow will be across our far northern viewing area. But then in the afternoon, we see light snow showers continue for pretty much everyone across southern Wisconsin. Again, the snow gradually comes to an end overnight tonight. We'll start tomorrow morning a little bit colder. So additional snow on top of what we've already gotten. A general 1 to 5 inch snow total is expected through the day today. Again, that's on top of what fell overnight. Here's a look at your extended forecast. A couple of things to note. Thursday into Friday, there's another storm system. Little unorganized right now, so not very impressive, but there is a chance for some light snow or even a little bit of freezing drizzle. But more importantly, things quiet down as we head into next week. It stays cold, but no major storm systems headed in this direction, so a bit of a break and a chance to clean up. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning with Josh Tim. What are you seeing this morning, Josh?
Yeah, the Beltline is snow covered right now, so as to be expected, things are moving really slow this morning. Just make sure you give yourself plenty of extra time. Other roads here in Dane County pretty slick, and the snow is still falling. Watch out for heavy snow piled up on the ramps and the bridges. No problems with unusual delays downtown and on campus. And other main routes heading into Madison, very slow going, including the interstate. Just make sure you drive with caution when you head out the door. For your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh. Glad you got to work okay. And of course, thank you, Hattie. So Edgewood College is inviting teachers and families to a conference this weekend. It's all focused on addressing the academic achievement gap and how to improve outcomes for African-American students.
The Black History Education Conference wants to help instructors breathe new life into their classes. Organizer Andrea Davis joins us this morning to talk more about it. Thank you so much for joining us on this snowy Tuesday.
Thank you for having me.
I know she made it.
She made it in. She made it in.
It's a feat in itself.
It is. So this is your first time holding this conference. What sparked you to start this conversation?
Well, I knew that we needed a more intensified approach towards looking at a problem that we have in our state, and we rank one of the lowest states around this issue. But as I was thinking about it, I was thinking we have so much genius in our state, and it's siloed, and we need a way to bring our genius together. And so the conference idea came about in that way.
When you say intensified, what does that mean for you? What does it mean to intensify this conversation? Because you know, we've reported on statistics on these issues before, but what does that really mean to you?
Well, again, for me, it means that I travel around the state in my work and I see these siloed people with excellence, people who have pedagogical approaches, who are just masterful at what they do. And so it's time to bring all of that together. So intensified means bringing our homes, our school, our community partners together and creating a statewide approach towards this issue.
In your travels, I'm sure you've talked to a lot of families. What are you hearing from them? What do they want to see?
They actually want to be able to have more conversations with practitioners, and they also want to be able to see what's right here in our own backyard. So bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave is the name of the conference. And again, it's about digging deep. It's about bringing in some of those institutional bodies of wisdom and knowledge that have been passed down to us. And we really have to go back and take time to think about and revisit what's been passed down to us by our grandmothers, by community members, by our teachers, by our pastors, by just a collective body of wisdom.
In that vein, what kind of topics are you aiming to cover this weekend?
Well, we're looking at, one of the presenters is going to be doing something on the role of the Black church. We're looking at Black male mentoring, Black female mentoring, how to select culturally responsive materials in your classroom. Again, looking at those pedagogical approaches. What kinds of funds of knowledge do family members bring? So we have a wide range of sessions that'll be offered.
And it's proving that, you know, it's not just in school that matters when it comes to this issue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, it's about home, school, and community, about collective bodies of wisdom.
So this conference is happening this weekend. Tell us a little bit about the logistics.
Yes, well, we'll be beginning our Friday. We'll be having a pre-conference that actually we'll have presenters that will talk about the historical context around this work. How did it all begin? And then we'll have a welcome reception, a lot of fun, but still sticking to the topic and learning about different values and traditional ways of being through dance, through music, through a panel of firsts. And then we'll move into our second day where we will acknowledge how people want to start their morning. So there'll be line dance, there'll be yoga, there'll be meditation, an art gallery, and then a series of sessions following up. And then at the end of the day, we really want to take action. We want to move from knowing to doing. Yep. We've collected all of this wisdom. We've collected all of this information. So how are we going to move into doing, into action?
A very important conversation, several important conversations there. Thanks so much for joining us this morning to talk about it.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. Be safe on the way home. It may not seem like it today, but we are only close to our average snowfall totals for the season. That is unbelievable. Chris Reese is checking out those numbers to see just how close we are. He'll break it down for us next.
And Hattie is tracking this storm that's going to last right into the evening today. She's going to update your alert day forecast. That's next on News 3 Now this morning.
From the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center, it is an alert day today. A winter storm warning continues until midnight tonight, so we have all day yet to deal with this snow. Let's take a look at the radar map this morning. We've had some pretty heavy snow for the last couple of hours here in Madison. But now the snow is starting to let up. Dry air working its way into southwestern Wisconsin will give us a little bit of a break this morning, but that snow is expected to fill back in mid to late morning right into the afternoon. So we're not done with the snow, even though we'll get just a small break. Here's a look at additional accumulation on top of what has already fallen. To give you a little perspective, we have 6 inches of snow now in the backyard weather patio here on the west side of town. We're going to add another couple of inches to that. Higher snow totals expected through the day, especially north of the Dalles, where you could see another 3 to 5 inches of snow. Our temperatures are in the mid to upper 20s, so it's not terribly cold. There will be a wind chill factor today, though, especially later this afternoon as those northwest winds kick in and increase to around 15 to 25 miles per hour, gusting higher at times. Temperatures will top right around 30 today. But again, with 6 inches of snow on the ground, another couple on the way, this is going to shape up as one of our larger snowstorms of the season, at least so far, right, Chris? What are you seeing outside?
That's right, Hattie. Of course, we've been paying attention to how much snow we could see. If you remember back in January, you and I were trying to figure out least snowiest winters and where we may end up, but Mother Nature for the comeback. So let's go ahead and show you guys just some of the snows that we have had so far this season that were our bigger snows. We had more than just these snows right here, but these were the bigger storms, and they go all the way back to December 31st, rather, instead of December 1st. But New Year's Eve into New Year's Day, we got 4.2 inches here at the station. By mid-January, 7.3 inches, another 7.5 inches just a couple days after that, followed up with 8.2 inches right after that. Today, I'm leaving blank just because the day is not over yet. Now, the airport, it was just a little bit less, and that's because the airport is on the east side of town. A lot of these storms lately have favored the west side of the town more than the east, just due to the track of the storms through southeastern Wisconsin. But even still, the airport has seen some decent snows, right under 4 inches on New Year's Eve, and then 4.5, and then just under 7 inches, and another snow that was more than half a foot as you got towards the end of January. Today, again, blank because the day is not over yet. But January itself, we did pick up 19.8 inches of snow, which was above average by nearly or just over 5 inches. And so we're starting to creep up. That purple line is where we are. The blue line is where we should be for snow, and we are getting oh so close to average here. In fact, last night we needed 4.2 inches to go to make it towards the average, and this just in, folks, fresh from the airport, 5.7 inches of snow so far with more to go. That puts us at 36.4 inches of snow for the season, which is 1.5 inches above normal. So after a very slow start, and a lot of folks saying, hey, where is winter this year? Mother Nature has shown up, and we are now above normal on snowfall for the first time this season. We'll just have to wait and see if that continues towards the end.
Considering that it feels like we've been bombarded lately,
Right.
so it's hard, it's easy to forget, I suppose, the drier December that we had.
It is easy to forget. As we used to say down in Kentucky, all it takes is one storm to make it go from a lack of a winter to a very bad winter.
Yeah.
And so in Wisconsin, this past 3 weeks, a lot of people are going to be saying, oh, it was a snowy winter. It was a snowy winter, even if we end below average by the
Right.
time the season
point.
ends in April.
Very
But
interesting.
we'll see how things shape up.
Sounds good. All right, get warm and dry. Get
Will
in
do.
here.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Chris.
6:27 your time now. Dane County is working on a resolution to help people with a criminal record clear their name after getting out of prison.
And 4 men credited with saving lives when a gunman opened fire on his co-workers last fall will be recognized by state lawmakers today. The day's top stories are next, right here on News 3 Now this morning. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill say they have come to a compromise to avoid another shutdown. We'll tell you what that spending bill covers and what it doesn't.
If you have to hit the road this morning for your morning commute, take it slow. We've already seen some cars on the side of the road. I'm Josh Brutter, live tracking the latest road conditions just ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning. We want to start right away this half hour with team coverage on the winter storm. We're right in the middle of it right now. Josh Sprider has a live look at the snow-covered roads ahead of your drive to work.
But we start with Hattie and her alert day forecast to see just how much more snow is going to fly today. Hattie?
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. We have about 6 inches of snow on the ground here this morning, and it's not a very light and fluffy snow. It's not packy by any means, but it's definitely a heavier, wetter snow, so it's going to be a little tougher to shovel and clear the roads this morning. Snow continues to fall for a good part of the area. Here's a look at our current temperatures. We're in the mid to upper 20s this morning, so not terribly cold, which is good news. That snow is expected to continue right through the rest of the morning into the afternoon. Now, it will let up. It's already letting up a bit here in Madison, but we'll start to fill back in. Temperatures holding steady right around 30. Those northwesterly winds kicking in later today. Let's get you up to date on your traffic maps, though, this morning. They've been very colorful this morning, and here's a look at a wider view across the area. There is a stalled vehicle on the interstate right around Highway 59, but you can see a lot of slow areas showing up on the map. Highway 151, very slow between Verona and Mount Horeb. Also, Highway 151 heading towards Sun Prairie or coming in from Sun Prairie is slow. Highway 14 is slower than normal as well. So it's going to be difficult to get around, especially early today until those plows catch up. Keep in mind, though, we're looking at another 1 to 5 inches of snow falling through the day today. So this is still going to be a 5 to 11 inch snow total for southern Wisconsin. Stay safe today.
Hattie, and there's a little bit of a concern for the wind we might see today, too, and the blowing and drifting out on the roads.
Yep, I would think later on today we'll see our winds let up through the one shower, but then this afternoon, strong northwesterly winds kick in. By that time, the snow will be a little drier, so it'll be able to blow around and drift a little bit more. That may cause problems. Anything that's cleared early might then become unpassable with that snow blowing across the road.
Something we'll definitely have to keep an eye on. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Almost 140 school districts say the roads are too bad for buses today.
Our Josh Sprider is live in the passenger seat with a look at where the drive is worse this morning. Josh, what are you seeing?
Good morning. We are heading north on I-3990 right now, reaching the DeForest exit, and it's been hard to kind of keep up with the conditions. At some points, the roads are more clear, and then right now you can see the road is more snow covered. It's actually kind of hard to tell even where the lanes are on the road. We're heading around 40, 45 miles an hour on the interstate, but there are some slower stretches as well as that. We have seen 2 cars within the last 10 minutes on the side of the road. One wrecker was there trying to pull the car out, so that just is enough evidence right there to show you that the roads are in horrible shape this morning. We have talked to Dane County Dispatch, and they've reported more than a dozen slide-offs overnight. Rock County reported a half dozen slide-offs. All of the crews are out in full strength this morning trying to get those roads cleared up. So if you are heading out this morning, give yourself some extra time, as it is going to take you some extra time, as well as sometimes you get behind those snow plows and you're going pretty slow, which is a good thing. We'd want to have it safe. If you are headed out, some tips from the Dane County Sheriff. Make sure that you, again, are giving yourself some extra time. Make sure you have all of that emergency supply gear in your vehicle, as we've reported before, in case you do get stranded on the side of the road. And if you do get into that crash, stay in your vehicle until help arrives, because the chances are there could be a car coming in right behind you and you don't want to risk your life. Of course, we'll keep you updated on any updates here from the interstate, but for now, we'll send it back to you guys in the nice warm studio this morning.
Yep, and Hattie talking about that freezing drizzle can only make those roads more dangerous this morning. Josh taking it nice and slow and safe out there. Thank you, Josh.
6:35 right now. Switching gears this morning, Congress will spend the day working on the details on a tentative deal that would avoid a government shutdown. The bill includes nearly $1.4 billion for fencing along the U.S.-Mexico border. That is far less than the $5.7 billion the president asked for to pay for a border wall. Now, it also calls for a reduction in the number of detention beds that immigration enforcement officials are using, which is a key demand of Democrats. The president would have to sign that bill by midnight Friday Friday into Saturday to avoid another partial shutdown.
4 officers credited with saving countless lives during last September's workplace shooting in Middleton will be honored today in the State Assembly. Middleton police officers Tyler Lather and Richard O'Connor, along with Dane County deputies Matthew Earle and David Lambrick, will be named hometown heroes during the Assembly's session today. Those 4 men responded to the shooting at WTS Paradigm last September and shot and killed gunman Anthony Tong before he was able to kill anyone else in that office building.
The State Assembly will also be taking up a Republican proposal to cut taxes for middle-class families later today. Republicans say the plan would save the average taxpayer about $170 a year, and the plan would be to use a 1-year budget surplus to pay for that. However, Governor Evers says he won't support the bill because it doesn't have funding in place for future years. He favors his own plan, which he says would save taxpayers $225 annually and would be funded by capping a tax credit for manufacturers. Republicans have said they will not support that idea.
If you're not sure you're going to vote in this spring's election, here's something to consider. The April vote could mark the start of a swing from a conservative state Supreme Court to a liberal one for the first time in more than a decade. The court has been under conservative control since 2008. The State Journal reports if the liberal-backed candidate wins this year and again in 2020, they would hold the majority until at least 2025. The court could face big decisions on things like political redistricting, lawsuits challenging the Foxconn project, and laws passed in the lame duck session to weaken Governor Evers' power. On April 2nd, liberal-backed Judge Lisa Neubauer will take on conservative Brian Hagedorn. The winner will serve a 10-year term on the state Supreme Court.
Almost 1.5 million Wisconsinites have criminal records, and Dane County supervisors want to make sure that does not ruin their chances of getting jobs and contributing to the community in the future. Current state law does not allow requests to expunge a conviction after the case is closed or after that person is sentenced. Dane County supervisors are looking at a resolution that would encourage state lawmakers to expand those rules and allow someone to request an expungement after they finish their sentence. That would include people charged with felonies. At a meeting tonight, the county's Public Protection and Judiciary Committee will consider sending those recommendations to state lawmakers and Governor Evers.
6:37 right now. The Badgers are hoping they can get back on their winning streak after a tough loss in Michigan this weekend. We'll have a preview of their matchup against the Spartans coming up in the morning sprint.
Before that, though, a Sauk County highway is going to be renamed to honor a veteran who helped save lives during a helicopter crash. That story is coming up when News 3 Now This Morning continues.
Welcome back. Okay, so I think we're going to get a lot of pictures like this today, except I hope you're taking them from the comfort of your living room window and not out on the roads. This picture's from Wendy. A gorgeous shot, but a really good example of what it's going to look like today.
How can you tell it's gorgeous? It's just whiteout conditions right there. Wendy, I hope you made it through that safely.
Yes.
That's the most important part. And thank you for sending that in because, again, I think it's kind of a heads up for everybody out on the roads today with that blowing snow. What does your morning look like? Hopefully a little more visibility than this one. Send them over and we share our favorites every morning here on the program. So speaking of roads, a stretch of Highway 33 between Portage and Baraboo is set to be renamed in a veteran's honor.
I love this story. Staff Sergeant Daniel Bush died on his mission back in 1993, portrayed in the movie Black Hawk Down. He helped save 5 other people who were on that helicopter. He's buried at the Welsh Church Cemetery along Highway 33 next to his relatives. His mother also lives along that stretch of highway.
We don't give enough attention to the heroes of the last few generations, and he's definitely one of them.
That right there is the lawmaker behind this bill. He's presenting the measure for signatures this week. Then he will formally introduce it to the Assembly Speaker. I love that story. What a great way to honor that man.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, 6:42 your time now. We are in a winter storm warning until midnight tonight, but Hattie says once the snow stops after your morning commute, the concern's going to turn to blowing and drifting for your evening commute. Her alert day forecast is coming up next.
I know, it never ends, right? But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show off their picture on TV and say happy birthday. News 3 Now this morning. We'll be right back. All right, today is the big day for nearly 3,000 dogs competing for Best in Show.
That's right. It's the final day of the Westminster Dog Show over in New York City. A record 204 breeds are represented this year. You can watch portions of the competition starting tonight at 6 over on Fox Sports 1. Several groups already went through judging yesterday, and tonight the sporting, working, and terrier groups will strut their stuff. Just 7 dogs get the chance to compete for Best in Show tonight at Madison Square Garden. Some cuties in there.
Yeah, I don't get that much grooming when I go to the salon, that's for sure. But it's rightfully so.
I don't have that much hair.
I know, exactly. All right, let's turn it over to Hattie now. You're going to need that much fur to stay warm in this kind of weather and snow, Hads.
Yeah, and don't bother with doing your hair today.
No.
Because it's going to be a mess anyway. Alert day is in effect for the area today. 5 to 11 inches of snow with the highest amounts to the north. There is a small risk for freezing drizzle, but with all the snow on the ground, I don't think it's going to be a huge impact for southern Wisconsin. Take a look at the winter weather bulletins. Most of the state under a winter storm warning, and for southern Wisconsin, that goes until midnight tonight. There is an ice storm warning in effect for areas of Chicago, points to the south, and for the far southeastern corner of the state, it's a winter weather advisory. Been gathering up some snow totals so far, and this is what we can gather. Some of these snow totals were as of 4:30 this morning, but 8 inches so far in Richland Center. We've had 6, of course, here at the station, just shy of 6 at the airport in Madison, 5 in Mineral Point and Boscobel as well. And again, we'll add to these totals through the day today. We're seeing that snow breaking up across the southwestern corner of the state. Again, letting up a little bit here in Madison, but all this snow back to the north and west will rotate through and fill back in as we go through the rest of the morning into the afternoon. So even if you get a little bit of a break in the snow, you are still going to be adding to those snow totals. Additional snow from now through about midnight tonight is anywhere from 1 inch to almost 4.5 or 5 inches in the northern parts of our viewing area. So we are still adding some pretty significant snow yet today to the north. Snow totals, again, still on track for a general 5 to 11 inch snow total for southern Wisconsin, slightly lighter amounts in the southeastern corner of the state. Visibility is improving here in Madison. That's good news as the snow lightens up. 1 mile visibility up to 3/4 of a mile in the Dells. Juneau's at 3/4 mile visibility as well. Visibility is really high in the southwestern corner of the state where the snow is not falling too hard right now. Temperatures are in the mid to upper 20s across the area. Janesville and Mineral Point still at 30 degrees. We have an easterly wind this morning. Wind speeds will decrease through the middle of the day as the storm tracks right overhead, but by this afternoon, northwesterly winds start to move into southern Wisconsin and they'll increase in speed. So it's going to be quite windy today. That'll cause some issues with blowing and drifting snow. Take a look at your future track forecast model. Dry air works its way into the area, so by the lunch hour, just some very light snow for most of southern Wisconsin. The snow fills in through the afternoon and then continues right into the evening before coming to an end. Here's a look at your extended forecast then. We have temperatures that will be in the mid-20s tomorrow with a bit of a break. We get a chance to clean up. Another weak system Thursday into early Friday. Not very organized right now, but there is a chance for a little bit of a mix. But then we quiet down for next week. More sunshine and no major storms expected to move into the area. Oh, here's Harley in Madison. Is that a bow tie?
I think so. Ready for the Westminster Dog Show or even something more fancy.
Harley, that weather's giving me a black eye too. Boy.
What a cutie, though. I think the snow's going to be as deep as Harley today.
Yeah, no kidding.
We'll lose him in there.
Stay inside. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
The Morning Sprint's coming up next right here on News 3 Now this morning. Stay with us. It's almost 6:53, time for the morning sprint. Josh Sprider has been monitoring road conditions all morning long. He is live along the interstate with an update.
Your commute bound to be a little dicey all day long with more snow continuing to fall. Let's start with Hattie and her alert day forecast. Hattie?
Forecast for today calls for the snow to let up for a little bit this morning. We're already seeing that happen in southwestern Wisconsin, now here in the Madison area. These areas will fill back in, though, as we head through the morning back into the afternoon. So probability of precipitation stays rather high through the middle of the day, gradually starting to come down a little bit this evening, but you'll still likely see snowflakes flying until 10 o'clock this evening. Storm total snow still expected to range for most of us 5 to 11 inches across southern Wisconsin.
And I'm Josh Sprider tracking the road conditions. We just got off the interstate and onto US 151 heading into Madison right now. As you can see, the roads are snow covered this morning and slushy with that heavier snowfall from overnight. Dane County Dispatch has reported at least a dozen slide-offs this morning. We've seen several of them on the side of the road already, so that is just some evidence right there to take it slow this morning. If you are headed out, give yourself some extra time and be patient on the roadways. Those plows are working extra hard this morning so we can all be safe going to our destinations. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Josh. A heads up for air travelers. At least 7 flights scheduled to leave Madison today are already canceled. Those were headed to places like New Jersey, North Carolina, Phoenix, and Chicago. A few others set to arrive in Dane County Regional are also canceled. You will want to check your flight status and check with your airline as well about travel waivers.
We have nearly 140 schools closing down for the snow today, including Madison. Classes in Mount Horeb are also canceled as the district there is working through a plan to make up for the already missed class time this winter. Superintendent Steve Salerno says they're canceling a parent-teacher conference day and a professional development day at the end of the month, as well as getting rid of some early release days throughout the rest of the year.
He took a really good person from us. We all needed him.
The aunt of 28-year-old Janesville man killed in Beloit over the weekend is describing him as sweet and quirky. James Tompton was found dead in the driver's seat of a car that was still running. Police believe he was shot by someone in the passenger seat at the time. Now, Beloit police have released a picture and video to help track down this suspect. We have those images as well up on channel3000.com.
We are still waiting to hear why the trial for a suspended Badger football player is delayed. Quintez Cephas was supposed to start his trial yesterday, but court documents show that proceeding was not, quote, ripe for trial at this time. 2 women claim Cephas assaulted them on the same night while they were drinking last April. Cephas has pleaded not guilty and claims the encounters were consensual.
At the nation's capital, lawmakers will spend the day working out details of a tentative border security deal, one that would avoid another government shutdown. That was set to happen midnight Friday into Saturday. The bill includes nearly $1.4 billion for 55 miles of fencing along the U.S.-Mexico border. Of course, that's far less than the $5.7 billion the president had asked for to put up a wall. This also calls for a reduction in the number of detention beds that immigration enforcement officers use. That was a key demand of Democrats.
The state assembly will take up a proposal today to cut taxes for middle-class families here in Wisconsin. The Republican bill uses a 1-year budget surplus to pay for a $170 tax cut on average. Governor Evers wants a more permanent funding structure in place. His solution is capping a tax credit for manufacturers. The GOP majority says they would not support that idea.
The Badgers men's basketball team is going to host the 11th-ranked Michigan State Spartans at the Kohl Center tonight. The Badgers saw their 6-game winning streak snapped on Saturday when they lost a hard-fought game against Michigan. Now, the Badgers tip-off is set for 6 o'clock on ESPN2.
6:57 your time now. Let's turn it over to Josh Tim with a look at your first alert traffic this morning. Hi, Josh.
Hi, good morning. Moving slow on the Beltline with snow still coming down and it getting busier. I would expect plenty of delays for the morning commute. Inbound John Olin, you're tapping the brakes pretty much the whole way between Olin Avenue and North Shore Drive heading into the downtown area. And other main routes coming into Madison, slow going, including the interstate. Just make sure you drive with caution throughout the day. With your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh. Drive safe out there.
And here's the view from the Edgewater Skycam. A little bit better visibility as the snow lets up here in Madison, but expect on and off snow showers to continue through the rest of today right into tonight. Again, additional accumulation here in Madison, another couple of inches.
We can't say it enough. Be careful out there today. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a good one.